You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
So now it's time to hear those interviews I did when I was out and about on Thursday, when of course the Olympic flame come to us here in Swell in Faversham. I must say it was a really great day, and I must say a big thank you to all the people I got the chance to speak to. Basically, I was on the recreation ground, and there was a series of different sort of stands and organisations there, and that was there for people to look round on the lead up to the flame coming during the afternoon. And what I did, I had a little walk round and caught up with a few people. Now, it was such a busy day. Unfortunately, I never got to catch up with everyone there, but one of the people I did catch up with was Nicole Mallet at the Kent Cultural Baton, and this is what she had to say when I spoke to her. Nico, it's good to speak to you again.
Good to speak to you, Daniel.
Now, I was wondering, just firstly, if you could just give us a sort of a little brief introduction into what the Kent Cultural Baton is.
Well, yes, my pleasure. It is a travelling mobile art space in the shape of, well, it is actually an Airstream that's been altered. So Airstream is a sort of silvery caravan that's got very curved, it's like a bubble, and it's got a mirrored surface. And what's different about it is that we've actually got a periscope that allows people to look and film the surrounding area where it is, but also it's got a side opening, so it's quite a visually striking object. But what we do that is special inside is every location, every place we go to, we do something different, something creative. We've invited all sorts of partners in to showcase what they do, and we're very much about promoting creativity in Kent. So yeah, that is the Kent Cultural Baton in a nutshell.
Now, over the time you've been doing the Baton, I've caught up with you at different periods, and I was wondering whether perhaps you could let us know where you've been with the Baton since we last spoke, which is probably about sort of 3/4 of a year ago or so?
Yeah, sure. Well, we have done a heck of a lot in this last period, not to mention the whole torch that is obviously happening today, but yesterday we were in Dover, the day before we were in Tunbridge Wells, then on the weekend we were in Dartford, and gosh, let me think, Margate. Oops, almost forgot Margate. Yeah. But yeah, we've sort of more or less ping-ponged across the county. Anybody who's invited us to come to their event, we've more or less said yes to.
So you're here today in Faversham. I was wondering if you could tell our listeners a little bit about what's in Baton today.
Well, I've got a table of specially found objects that I've been gathering whilst I've been travelling around, and that's called the Wonders of Kent. It's a bit like an alternative cabinet of curiosities, if you know what that is. We've got things like a shell ornament bought from Laysdown Seaside Resort. I've got some wax sculptures made from beeswax in the Faversham area that I bought at a local church fete. I've got a canal craftwork painted box that was bought in Dartford actually on the weekend, but it's a very beautiful thing with flowers all over it. I've got photographs, drawings, everything that I think is of interest that basically has acted as an inspiration for the work we're producing. And it's supposed to be there as a visual stimuli for people to come in and explore and discover things about Kent that they didn't know. And most of these objects and images have formed the basis of the source material for my map, which is what we're going to be launching in September as our final artwork.
So at the moment we're hearing that interview I did with Nicole Mallet when I was out and about on Thursday, when of course the Olympic flame came to us here in Swale. And the next thing I asked Nicole was, with the Olympics more or less here now, what is left for the Kent Cultural Baton?
Well, what's left to go is we're going to quite a few events happening over the Olympic period in Kent. Namely, we've got the Gravesend, the big celebration the night before the Olympics. We've got the Deal Regatta, we're going there. And what else? The Tunbridge Wells Mellah. We're going to turn the baton into an Indian elephant for the Mellah. That's going to be exciting. So we're doing stuff throughout. But what our end goal is, which has always been part of the programme, is to create an alternative, creative, cultural map of Kent. So by that I mean a sort of visual image that tries to draw together all the things we've discovered. And what I'm going to call this piece of work is called it will be called the Atlas of Kent, because it's not just going to be one map. It's actually going to have many different maps. We've got heritage maps donated to us by Kent Libraries and Archives. We've got artist maps done by all the different residency artists that have used the baton in their projects. But we've also got contributions from the general public, maps that they've made themselves or maybe they've held in their own personal archives. So it's going to be a great celebration of forms of mapping Kent, forms of showcasing what Kent has to offer, and that will end up being in two formats. One will be a printed version, a publication that we're going to be handing out for free at our launch event on the 1st of September in Whitstable. And the other version will be an online version that anybody will be able to access, and that will take the form of a map again, but you'll be able to drill down into each individual county, and when you do that, up will pop a whole range of offerings, things that we've collected that we think are interesting about that county.
I was wondering, just before we finish talking about the baton, if you could let our listeners know all about your website so they can perhaps find out more.
Yeah, okay, so our website is www.kentculturalbaton, all one word, no dots in between, .com. And we've also got a Facebook page, so you can search us on Facebook, Kent Cultural Baton, and that I post to regularly with all the updates of where we're going. And yeah, so those are the ways of finding out more. But if anybody's got a secret they want to share with us, email me at nicole@kentculturalbaton.com.
We are at the moment talking to Nicole Mullet. Now, it's a pretty special moment today because Room is actually next door to Baton, which I think is very, very rare. And we're going to be talking to Nicole a little bit more about that in just a minute. Yeah, and we will hear Nicole talking all about Room in just a minute. But what I did was, next door to the Kent Cultural Baton was the Kent Army Cadets, and I thought I'd have a little talk with them to find out what they were doing, and then I'd come back to Nicole to hear a little bit more about Room, which was just behind the Kent Cultural Baton on the recreation ground. Of course, we are hearing those interviews I did when I was out and about when the Olympic flame come to us here in Swale in Faversham on Thursday. And we're now joined with the Kent Army Cadet Force. I'm joined with two people at the moment. I was wondering if you could both firstly introduce yourselves.
I'm Sergeant Kelly. I'm the detachment commander of Faversham Detachment.
I'm Bombardier Dicey. I go to Sittingbourne Detachment.
And how long have you been part of this?
Part of cadets. I've been in cadets for about 3 years now.
So a fair time. And how did you hear about it and decide you wanted to join?
Through a friend, actually. He went to cadets and I thought it sounded like fun, so I went along as well.
I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you do.
Well, basically, we are a youth organisation. We just recruit a load of children. We teach them map and compass, skill at arms, fieldcraft, drill, other amounts of activities that we teach them how to do, and then basically if they want to go and join into the regular army, then they know a little bit about the background.
So do you meet up once a week?
We parade 2 nights a week.
Okay.
And we basically teach them, and they go away on weekends, and that's when they do their little tests.
So I was wondering, as our listeners can't see what you're doing, if you could describe to us what you're doing here today.
Whereas all we're doing today, this is a public event. We are here with the recruiting suite to try and recruit more cadets into the public, into the community of cadets, and we've just set up some camouflage nets for children, public to go under.
Okay, thank you very much for telling us all about what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And that was when I spoke to the Kent Army Cadet Force when I was out and about on Thursday, when the Olympic flame came to us here in Swale in Faversham. Of course, I was on the recreation ground going around and meeting some of the people that was there. And I think what we'll do, we'll take a break now, and then we'll start off with the interview I did with Nicole Mulley all about Room.